Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about the biological extraction of metals. The supply of some metal-rich ores, such as copper ore, is limited. And the demand for lots of metals is growing. So what we're trying to do, or what scientists are trying to do, is come up with ways that first of all are economical, which means it doesn't cost much money, and can extract metals from low-grade ores. That's ores that don't contain that much of a particular metal. So there's two different types of biological extraction that we're going to look at, and they're called bio-leaching and phyto mining. So whenever we see bio, we know it's to do with living things. So both of these processes involve living things. Process one is called bio-leaching. So remember, the way of remembering which one's which is B is for bio, and bio-leaching uses bacteria, which also starts with a B. So let's imagine we have an ore, which is copper sulfide. I need to extract that copper from this ore in order to be able to use it. So what can be done is I could use bacteria in order to do this. Now, what happens is the bacteria get energy from the bonds between the atoms in the ore. This separates the atoms from the ore in the process. And as this happens, a substance is created which is called leachate. It's a liquid called leachate. This is why it's called bio-leaching, because we produce leachate. So once we've produced this leachate, which contains these copper ions, there's two different ways of then extracting it. So one is displacement. So remember, what we're trying to do is get copper all by itself. So what we can actually use is a more reactive metal than copper. And the one that's often used is iron, particularly bits of scrap iron that aren't particularly useful. So by using iron, it displaces the less reactive copper, so we can get copper all by itself, and so therefore we've succeeded in extracting it. The second thing that we could do to leachate is a process called electrolysis. Because within the leachate, there are copper ions. So in electrolysis we have two electrodes, a positive electrode and a negative electrode, and we pass an electric current through them. This is where we put the leachate. So both of these electrodes are within the leachate. Okay? So what happens is the copper ions which are present within the leachate will go to the cathode, that's the negative electrode because opposites attract, and this is where we can collect our copper. So that's the first method, bio-leaching. The second method, also using living things, is called phyto mining. And this is clever. So in phyto mining, what we have is we use plants. So let's say we have a plant here, and underneath the ground, obviously, of plants, we have their roots. So in phyto mining, let's say we're trying to get copper. What we do is we'd plant these plants in a region where we know there's a lot of copper or copper ore. Now what happens is little quantities of this copper will be absorbed through the roots of the plant, and therefore it then be transported throughout the plant and be stored within the plant. So if we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of these plants all taking up bits of copper, we've now got copper stored within them. But it's really difficult to just take that out. So what needs to be done is all of those plants, they get burnt in a big furnace. So here's the plants. Remember, this is thousands and thousands of plants, all containing little bits of copper. We burn them. Okay, so what we're left with afterwards is we're left with a big load of ash, but within the ash, there'll be lots of bits of copper, loads and loads of copper. So we can see again, it's a biological extraction because our living thing this time is a plant rather than bacteria, and we've been able to extract our metal, get our metal at the end. So just a quick recap, biological extraction of metals, try and cheaply get metals from low-grade ores. Those are ores that don't contain much metal. Bioleaching uses bacteria, which creates leachate. The metal can then be extracted using displacement with a more reactive metal. And electrolysis. And phyto mining involves plants absorbing the metal through their roots, burning the plants in a furnace, and then the metal is left behind within the ash. Thank you very much.